right, so get out the way. All right, so shalom, shalom, right? I want to give I want to start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the whole feet legs, starting with the 144,000. Shalom. I don't think this makes it sound good. All right, so shalom to the sister Akim. It's the Day of Atonement, right? Yawam Hakapayim, right? Day of Atonement, right? And and this day is the day, that atonement goes into the word reparation, right? I'm just going to something real fast. Bear with me. Let's see. Yeah, Khan, right? So, Day Yawam of Atonement, Hakaparium, right? Yawam Hakaparium, right? Day of Atonement, right? And that's what that's what we're in today, right? We're in Day of Atonement, which we went to a lesson yesterday is understand, although Yahushua covered it, right? But we still rehearse that righteous act. We still do these things, afflicting our soul, fasting, 24 hours, no food, no water, or whatnot, right? And doing the will of Yahweh Yahushua. But today, Lord willing, I was watching the lesson. I still got to pull it up on my TV over here. History in the Bible and various topics with Ed Apostle Rumlai did. He did it yesterday, right? And I kind of mentioned, right? We're watching the elders lesson and meditate through the spirit that the spirit brings, and the spirit comes upon me and brings a lesson. Got a meeting. I leave around like 2:40. Lord willing, we get into it before then. But if not, we're going to a part 2, right? But the point is, right? The point is the lesson, how he was talking about. He went into Luke 1. It's like Luke chapter 13, read verse 1, right? And that's it hit me in the spirit quick, right? Going into that because he's reading about how Pilate was coming. Herod was the king at the time. Pilate was the governor, right? And the Romans was in charge. And in Luke 13, when it's talking about how Pilate was coming down crazy on Jake, because Jake was rebelling and doing these things, right? But when Pilate, just like Apostle Rumlai was talking about how Pilate was good at shutting these rebellions down, right? And I'll read Luke 13:1 real fast. It says, and there were present at that season some that told him of the Galileans. The Galileans, they were rebellion, right? There was rebellion against, the Jews, the Israelites, right? They were rebellion against Roman, right? Because, of just the Roman ways that they didn't fit them, right? The tax and all the things that the Romans was doing to them, right? It says who blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices, right? And Apostle Roman was going into this, right? He went into the chat title and whatnot, and he was talking about how even when the Israelites was in the temple, they'd be doing sacrifices. Pilate would be slaughtering them, whatnot. Pilate was slaughtering them, right? But the point being, right? Lord willing, the point being, was the fact of how Ed Apostle was going into how Jake was going against these people. Jake was going against the Romans, but if anybody was to go against the Romans, it should have been Yahushua, right? But Yahushua understood that we was living out our curses. Yahushua understood that the Most High put the Romans in that position, right? Each time he went into captivity, there was a punishment for us, right? Like, for example, Ezekiel 12, when the Most High using Ezekiel as a sign to tell the nation to get right. But the nation didn't listen, so what happened? The Babylonians came and took them over. Yahushua was telling them, hey, these Romans going to come down fierce, they're going to come down bad, these Romans going to come down on that if you don't get right. Luke 21, right, and 20, right? He was telling them, right, what happened? The Romans ended up coming and slaughtering and doing these things. But each time, understanding that each time the Most High put them in that position, the Most High put them in that position. Just as well today, the Most High put Esau in that position over us, right? Now this is our punishment, right? Just a quick precept real fast that come to mind, right? Proverbs 3 and verse 11, right? It says, my son, despise not chastening. of the Lord, right? Chastity means like correcting them, right? You getting right, discipline, right? He said, need to be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as the Father, the Son, whom he delighted, right? So the Most High is correcting us, right? Us is right. This is a correcting period for us. The Most High put us in a position, right, so that we can get ourselves together, right? Because Jake, in Isaiah, it talks about how, you know, let's see, what's the Isaiah 1, right? In verse 5, it says, why should you be stricken anymore? Thank for that. No, it's not my iPad propped up. But it says, why should you be stricken anymore? Right? You will revoke more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart is faint. And when you go to the NLT, they said, why you keep inviting punishment? Because Jake just continued to keep going off. Jake just continued to keep going off, right? Went through the Babylonian, right? Went through the Syrian captivity, Babylonian captivity, right? We was in captivity under the Persians, right? We still in captivity under the Edomites to this day right now, right? And Jake still continues to go off and go off and go off, right? Let's see, Isaiah 1 and 5 in NLT. Yeah, Khan, it says, why do you continue to invite punishment? Must you rebel forever? Right? And Jake keep getting this position and it's hard, it's this and that. And that's even the fact showing that the how Shah was showing us how we enduring this suffering, enduring this pain to do the will of the Father, right? Because Elder Pastor Roland, he brought out an account how how Shah he had paid his taxes, he ain't rebelled, he ain't paid his taxes. It's like he rebelled not paying his taxes, he paid his taxes, right? Because it wasn't it ain't fit for us to go against this kingdom physically. You can't knock Esau down physically, right? We battle against. The scriptures tell us our weapons are not carnal. We battle against spiritual wickedness in high places. We preparing for the battle mentally, spiritually, right? Because that's how they're gonna try to deceive us. That's gonna try to get us. How they got Jake now? Because Jake keep thinking he can go against Esau, physically. You can't, because the Most High put them in the position that they're in. The Most High set them in the position that they're in. That's what their birthright, you know. Quick precept. This is a precept that the elder brought out. This is Isaiah 26, right? Verse 13 says, our Lord Yahweh, our power. Other lords besides thee have had dominion over us, right? Other lords besides thee have had dominion over us, right? Even now today, right? You have Esau, they have dominion over us, right? Because the Most High put them in the position that they're in. He says, but by thee only will we make mention of thy name, right? And we understand that that's why we don't care what Esau has going on. We don't care what Esau doing, because we understand that this is our correction period. This is for us to correct ourselves, to get right with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, to fix the ways that we did to cause us to be put in this position, right? It goes back to the curses, right? Most High get when he gave us laws and commandments, right? He gave them to Moses. Moses gave them to us in the wilderness, right? He not tell us, hey, you do these things, right? You do these things, right? You're gonna receive the promises. If you don't, you're gonna receive these curses, right? Jake thought it was a game. Jake went off, right? One of the curses was Deuteronomy 28:68, which he brought us to Egypt again on ships, right? Egypt is a metaphor for slavery, right? Exodus 20, I want to say Exodus 20 verse 2, right? Lord willing, not mistaken, right? I'm paraphrasing, but the house of bondage, right? We're brought into slavery again. Why? Because for the disrespect of going against Yahweh Yahushua. That's why Yahweh Yahushua said in Isaiah chapter 5, right? What more can I do to my vineyard, right? Matter of fact, that's the precept of Deuteronomy I want to go to. Let me see, bear with me. I don't want to read that. Bear with me. One of the precepts of Deuteronomy talks about, we have laws, commandments. Let's see. Yep, right? Do right here. Right? Here it is right here, right? Deuteronomy 32 and let's see. Let's see. I started verse 4, right? It says, he is the rock, right? Talking about Yahweh, right? Because Yahweh is the rock, right? Capital R, right? He is the rock. His work is perfect, right? For all his ways are judgment, right? Because let me talk about Psalms, right? The Most High judgments are righteous, right? You know, he come reward for every man his work, right? The Most High is not a liar. So the works that you're doing, the things that you're doing, right? The Most High is going to judge you for them, right? And no man is perfect, right? But that's why we have this word to cleanse ourselves. That's why we have this word to cleanse our ways, to fix ourselves, to do righteousness of Yahweh Shem Shah. Let's see what percent this on. Take a charge. We'll take this other charger so we can sit up. All right, upright. All right. It says, his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment, a power of truth, and without iniquity, just and right is he. He says they have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. It's like they are a perverse and crooked generation. Right? And I won't go to Isaiah chapter 5, but understanding there, this talking about the Israelites, right? How we corrupt ourselves because we have the laws and commandments to do the righteous works we have by Shem Shah. And Baruch chapter 4 talks about that, right? The things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us, right? Psalms 147, right? It tells us how we have the laws and commandments that was given to Israel. He haven't dealt with no other nation. So we have the things, right? We have the tools, we have the keys to do the righteous things we have by Shem Shah, but Jake never do them. Right? Jake always go off. So why? So you think the Most High just finna deal with that? Right? You think the Most High just finna let you just slip with that? Most High just finna look past that? Right? He's a merciful, but never forgiving of iniquity. Right? It's going to be a judgment. His judgments are right. Right? I got some notes right here I want to read on this. Right? It says, this dealing with Israelites, right? Isaiah chapter 5, which we're going to go to, talks about how the planting of the vineyard of the Lord. It was planted, it was nourished and watered. What else could have been done? What can have been done that wasn't already done? What more can I do to my vineyard? He gave us the laws and commandments. We have corrupted ourselves. We went off, right? That's why I read Proverbs chapter 3, right? We go back to that, right? Don't be weary of correction, right? Proverbs 3, verse 11. My son, despise not chastening, right? Of the Lord, Yahweh, need to be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he corrected. So that's mercy. Him ultimately not just destroying us. Yeah, this captivity is hard, but that's why he also said, root in the land of your captive, you shall remember yourself. That's why the knowledge is being brought back into us, right? Jeremiah 2 talks about how, when we go into these captivities, right? When we got the names, we just calling these names and the Most High will deliver us, right? Most High will deliver us. We go into captivity, Babylon, the Most High delivers. Most High delivers, right? And we'll get out those captivities and go back to doing the same thing, hypocritical, right? Go back to doing the same thing. So this time we came with this captivity, the name was stripped from us for a little bit. But now it's brought back into us. But now it's only given to the elect to understand it. Because only the elect gonna receive it. Only the elect gonna understand it. Because the elect gonna be the ones who correct themselves, who don't run from that correction. Don't be weary of his correction, right? Because other Jake don't see what's going on. Right? So let's go to Isaiah 5, right? And that's why you gotta understand, Esau was put into the position that he's in. The Most High put them in that position to be over it, right? Because let me see. So we're gonna go to Isaiah 5. Let me find this precept real fast. What's in my mind? So Isaiah 47, right? So let's read this Isaiah 5 real fast, verse 3 and 4 real fast, and we go to Isaiah 47, right? Isaiah 5 and 3, it says, and now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, right? And men of Judah, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard, right? Talking about, between me and my vineyard, they're talking about us, talking about Yahweh Shem Shah and us, right? Like I say right here, between me and my vineyard, meaning him and his people, right? He gave us the blueprint, he gave us the laws and commandments. Right? Then Jeremiah 2:21 talks about how we were a noble vine, but we made ourselves the degenerate plant. Right? We was a noble vine because he gave us a tool, he gave us the seeds, he gave us the watering. Right? He gave us his word, his truth, his knowledge, his understanding. He gave us these things. Matter of fact, that's the spirit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go back to this precept right in Deuteronomy. I was gonna read in Deuteronomy 4, right? Deuteronomy 4 and verse 5 and 6, it says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgment, even as the Lord Yahweh, my power commanded me. that ye should do so in the midst of the land, whether you go and possess it, right? Because we this the covenant, right? That marriage contract between us, and how about Yahweh, right? We were upright people, no matter where we went, right? It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, because Leviticus tells us how the Most High gave us these laws and commandments, so we won't do the abominations and the ways of the other nations. So we won't follow those ways. We won't do those things that they're doing, because we have the things that are pleasing to the Most High. Once again, are made known unto us. We have the laws and commandments. We have the thing that's pleasing to Him. We have the things that's honorable in His sight. We have those tools, right? Nobody else has. We have them. We have the understanding, right? It says, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this is a great nation and wise and understanding people, because that's what we were. That's why they was laughing at us and Lamentations, right? And it's supposed to be the rest of the nation, and it's supposed to be, it was mocking us when we failed, right? They was happy that we failed, right? But Lord willing, we're going to get back to that, right? That's why the Most High put us in this position. That's why the Most High put these Esau in the position that they're in. Esau will make these jealous with a jealous nation, but people who are it's like a fool's nation. So people who are nothing to be, the other nations like spit, right? What is that? Deuteronomy 32, right? Deuteronomy 32 and right here, in 21, it says, matter of fact, I'll read verse 16 on down. So they provoked him to jealousy with strange powers. With abomination provoked they him to anger, right? This is the doing of Israel. What put us in the position that led us into captivity. That the Most High put these put other nations over us, right? Just like today, how the Edomites are over us, the Most High put them over us because of our wrongdoing, right? It said they sacrifice unto devils, not to Yahweh, right? To powers whom they do not, to new gods that came up newly, whom your fathers feared not, of the rock, that capital R, talking about Yahweh, of the rock that beget thee, that are unmindful, and has forgotten power that formed thee, right? They sacrifices unto all these other ways, right? But He gave us laws and commandments. I just read Deuteronomy 4. He gave us laws and commandments. He gave us these things, right? What more can He do? He gave us the tools to get it right, right? It says, and when the Lord saw it, He abhorred them because of the provoking of His sons and His daughters. And He said, I will hide my face from them. That's what He did, right? We mean hide His face from Him. He took His name, right? The knowledge and understanding was stripped from us. We didn't have His knowledge and understanding for a little bit, right? We went through that, and we're in that correction period now because the knowledge and understanding has been brought back to us. And land of our captives we shall remember, right? We're in that captivity here today, right? So now we're being brought back to the remembrance. Now we're being brought back to the understanding, right? It says, He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are very froward. Froward just means hard to deal with. Froward generation, children in whom is no faith, right? But the elect have that faith. All this faith is a gift. You see how these Jake run around, lost, confused, don't know what's going on. So we had the faith of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We understand the position that we're in. We understand that we're under the curse. We understand the hardship. Just as well as Yahushua did during that time with Pilate, right? During that time when Pilate was going off, doing the things that he was doing. Right? During the time Paul was slaughtering, doing these things, the time the Romans was coming down hard. Yahweh understood it. We under the curse. He understood. He kept faith and understood that Yahweh going to be there for us. Right? Just what we had the faith to understand that, this is a correction period. We're going to get back to the position that, we were once in. That's why I said the glory of the former house not going to be compared to the glory of the latter house. Right? It was that Haggai chapter 2, right? Because the position that we're going to lose glories back then, but the position that we're going to be in, right, when we get back in the kingdom, hey, it ain't gonna be, it ain't gonna be nothing like it, man. Right? It ain't gonna be no more sin, no more going off, none of it. Right? We're gonna be made immortal. Right? But we got that faith that we gotta do this correction. We gotta correct ourselves. That's why the passage of the world back, the interest back then was wide, but now it's made narrow. To see who can stay focused, to see who can build that discipline, that consistency, right? That studious, right? Building that into becoming a spiritual man who can put off the flesh, who can put off their own desires, who can put off their own way and do the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, who can keep that faith until the end, right? Because it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder and harder. Yeah, today Esau just came down slaughtering yet, but in Jacob's trouble and the time to come, Esau going to come through on some whole different time. And the Most High is going to allow them to do it. He's going to put the spirit on them to do that. Right? So who's going to keep that faith? Who's going to stay focused until the end? Right? It says, when the Lord saw it, He abhorred them because of the provoking of His sons and of His daughters. He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are very full generation, children in whom is no faith. Right? Once again, the elect have that faith, that gives the faith. Let's talk about in Ephesians. Right? It said, they have moved me to this point. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not power. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I'll move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I'll provoke them. I'll provoke them to anger with the foolish nation. Right? That's why surely oppression make a wise man mad. Because all the things Esau do, Esau think they gonna Psalms 50:21 talks about this, man. Just because the Most High ain't brought judgment on Esau yet, Esau think they're good. Esau got that pride. But the Most High is going to destroy them. The Most High finna bring that judgment, and he using his elect, he using his prophets, right? The sincere men and women of this truth, the teachers of this truth, those watchmen, they're prophesying to tell you these things today, right? That, hey, yeah, we in this position, right? That's why the scripture say, them who are younger than me have me in derision, right? But why? Because Esau is under us, man, right? Esau is under us. We have the birthright. They know our birthright. That's why they try to keep us down. That's why they try to keep us in that confused and that bugged out state, because they know who we are. They try to keep Jake bugged up, thinking that he a nigga, thinking that he a gang, right? Thinking that he this and that. They try to keep that bullshit on Jake's mind, right? Because once Jake figure out who he really is, kings, princess, right? Our women princesses, right? Once you figure out who he really is, hey, Jake gonna come to his understanding, right? The prodigy son, right? When he came to understand who he is, when he came to understand who he is, right? You went astray for a little bit, but now you return back to Yahweh Shah because you understand who we are as a people, right? But it's only beginning with the elect right now, right? But that's why Esau trying to keep Jake in that that mindset within that standpoint, so he can control him, so he can have him confused, right? You know. So let me see. Con, right? I got it right here in my notes, actually, right? In verse 6, right? I got it wrote down, right? This is why Esau professed all the other ways of things to keep Jacob from the laws, and that's why they turn everything upside down as well, to keep Jacob in that negative mindset. The perspective on the black man is wild today, but ultimately, it's the curses as well. But that's why, but understanding the curses are what the Most High put Esau in that position to be over us, right? Those who have me in derision daily, because they're beneath us, right? But in due time, we're going to be put back in the kingdom, and they're going to be under us. We're going to be put back into our righteous position. But right now, we're in that correction period because we went out. So the Most High put Esau in a position, right? And as I was talking about in Psalms 50, right? Just because, Esau got that pride, man. Esau prideful. They think that just because the Most High ain't brought no judgment on them yet, the Most High on their side. Yeah, the Most High, they ain't doing the work of the Most High, but they doing the work of the left-hand spirits, right? They're doing the Most High, the Most High got those left-hand spirits on them, right? Those evil spirits, because they're evil, they're wicked. So the Most High got those evil spirits on them. You're going to use an evil person to do an evil thing. So he using them to do that, right? I got two precepts I'm going to bring out real fast. I'm going to finish Isaiah, right? I got two precepts I'm going to bring out real fast. Deuteronomy 32 again. I'm going to bring out Isaiah 47. Let's see. Isaiah 5 and verse 4 now, right? It says, what have been done more to my vineyard, right? Isaiah 1 and 5. What he said to you, why do you keep inviting punishment? What more can I do to my vineyard? You keep putting yourself in this position, man, right? So what more can I do to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I look, they said, bring forth grapes, right? Righteous fruit, right? Bring forth fruit. That's why it says, how is that husbandman? How shy is that vine with those branches that grow? And the scripture talk about, if you don't bring forth righteous fruit, you will hewn down and cast to the fire. You come and cast to the destruction when Yahweh shall bring destruction upon Babylon. Well, we're supposed to bring forth righteous fruit, but guess what? It bring forth, the scripture said, it brought forth wild grapes. Jake going off, Jake wild. Isaiah 51 and 20, man. They run around like a wild bull caught in a net, man. So guess what? The Most High using those left hand spirits on Esau, Edom, to do the evil things, to bring that, that chastening upon us, right? It's correction. Esau come down hard. You know how Esau at, because the Most High got the spirit on them to do that. That's who they are as a people. So the Most High is using them to do that. And you have the Most High putting left hand spirits upon other Jakes. That's why you have Jakes killing Jakes, whatnot, because that's the fury of the Most High. He using the left hand spirits to bring it out because Jake keep going off. But the point in that, what I'm saying is how the Most High put Esau in this position to be over us. Esau put him in that position, as I went to the title of this lesson, right? And I go to that Isaiah 26 and read the precept again real fast. The precept that hit me in the spirit, I want to go on, that maybe brought brought the spirit upon me to go in this, right? Isaiah 26 and 13. Oh Lord Yahweh, our power. Other lords besides thee have dominion over us, right? Because us going off, which led to this, right? So the Most High put him in that position. But as we're going to get to, Esau went overboard, man. Right? Esau went overboard. And the scripture I was talking about in Jeremiah 49 and 12, those who drunk of the cup, right? Uh, those who were not to drink of the cup have certainly drunk, and talking about how we follow the ways of Esau, Edom, we weren't supposed to because we have laws and commandments to do the righteous thing. Leviticus 20 and 25, right? He gave us the law was holy. He gave us the law to separate us from the other nations. Holy meaning separate. We are a holy nation. We are a separate nation from these people, right? We don't supposed to do the things they're doing, right? But as we read Deuteronomy 32, right? So we made the Most High mad, right? He brought a foolish nation, people who are nothing to him. He said the basis of men, basis mean low of the low, right? Let's go to that, right? Matter of fact, Slakia. I'm in the spirit. I'm just flowing through the spirit, right? And Slakia, I'm moving kind of fast. I know we got a meeting round 3. We have to head out probably around 2:40, 2:50. But Lord willing, we'll get it done, right? This is Daniel 4 and 17. I'm gonna go to it in Blue Letter Bible, so we can go to the definition of that word basis, right? Bear with me. This is Daniel 4 and verse 17, right? It says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and demand of the word of the Holy Ones, talking about the elect, right? It says, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. The Most High ruled this. So how Esau not in charge of this? The Most High just put Esau in that position. This is what he put. This is what he made America that golden cup. America's in that top Rome. America's in that top seat of the Roman Empire. All these Edomites coming, this Edomite conflagration. They all coming together. All Edomites, but America's in that top seat of because Most High put them there. This is where he put Esau in the position that they're in today, right? Over us, right? Once again, then they're younger than me, have me in derision, right? They're beneath us. They're younger talking about rank because they're beneath us, right? He just said something. So let's finish stop bringing other precepts out. We'll close it out, right? It says, the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and give it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the basis of men, right? So those bases of men, right? Let's go into that word basis, right? Right? That word is shafal. Oh, I got my brain. Slacky. Shafal. Right? It says lowliest, right? Low, right? That's what the word means. Lowliest, right? They're low. Most High put the low basis of men. And Esau going to go back to that position, that caveman-like standpoint. They're going to go back into that position, man. Right? Most High going to put them back right now. See, right now, the Most High put the position they're in, right? To bring that judgment on us, right? But eventually they're going to be put back into the position that's why Esau think they're so proud. They think that they want to be like the Most High. They think that they're doing all this on their own. Nah, the Most High put them in that position. And Jake got to understand that as well. So you can't run from this crest. You got to just follow the words and follow the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? Because once again, you can't come against Esau physically. We're going to, our weapons are not carnal. We better get spiritual wicked. They can't get us because we don't care about the flesh. We don't care about none of this. We got the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? So this is Isaiah 47 precept. Been holding, right? It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hand. Because Most High put us in this position, right? He put Esau over us, right? He says, thou didst show them no mercy, right? Let's see, get it right. He said, thou didst show them no mercy, right? Upon the ancient hast thou verily laid thy yoke, right? So Esau came down on one, right? Esau helped for their afflict. They made it worse. Esau came down on one. But it's also talking about that Zechariah 1:15, right? They helped for their afflicts. They made it worse, right? Because the Most High put us in the hand, but they made it worse. They definitely did too much, right? So it's going to be a judgment. It's going to be a judgment for that, right? It's going to be a judgment for that. That's why the Most High is going to judge them for the things they've done as well, right? And I really kind of made the point, right? But I want to read one more precept, right, before I had to close it out. This is Deuteronomy 32, and I'm gonna get straight to the point, right? And in verse 27, right? It says, were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy right? Because it talks about our enemies in Psalms 82, right? I think it's Psalms 83, Psalms 82 or 83, right? It says, "Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, and our main enemy is Esau, Edom, lest their adversaries should have behaved themselves strangely, and lest they should say, Our hand is high. The Lord Yahweh have not done all this." So Esau trying to say that, the slavery and all, they think that they overpowered. That's no, the Most High put them in the position. The Most High put them in that position to do that, right? The Most High made us, made us remember who we are, right? He talking about how he scattered us. He did these things, right? But you have Esau. They think that they think that they done these things, but the Most High did these things. That's why he said, lest lest the adversaries should behave themselves strangely, lest they should say that our hand is high. The Lord have not done all this, right? The Most High have put us in this position, right? That's why Esau got that pride, but the Most High gonna knock that pride right off on him, man, right? So understanding, man, yeah, these other people over, but the Most High put them in that position, right, for that correction, right? He put them in that for that, to correct us, to get us right, to put us not because if you understand where we come from, surely oppression make you mad. That's why he said, I provoke them with provoke them jealousy with a strange nation to a people who are nothing. Merely paraphrasing, right? They're like spitting unto him, right? And it surely press make us mad because where we come from, where we at now, it ain't nah, man. We don't want to be here. That's why we prophesying down for us. Like we telling Esau, hey, it's coming, right? And Lord willing, it is, right? So you got to understand the Most High put them in this position. You can't run from that judge. You can't run from that correction, and you can't try to come against Esau physically, man. You gotta stay focused on the spirit. How about Shai? How Shai is going to handle the physical part. We gotta stay focused spiritually, man. Right? So with that being said, Lord willing, right? Oh, that's edifying and exalting. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom. Right? And Yawam, Hakapayim, right? For the Day of Atonement.